Welcome to the series From Franchisee to Franchise Attorney, where I'd like to share my advice with you based on my time as a franchisee and my current experience as a franchise attorney. The first topic I'd like to discuss is the franchise agreement itself and the key elements that all potential franchisees should understand. First on that list is the territory and the level of protection. So, of course, you're going to be working with the franchisor to define your exact territory. And there are 3 levels of protection. The first is no protection whatsoever. The second is a protected territory. And the third is an exclusive territory. So an exclusive territory means that you won't face any competition from the franchisor or from other franchisees within that territory. The exclusive territory is not that common. The second is a protected territory. Okay, so the protected territory means that you have a certain level of protection in that the franchisor might promise not to open up a franchise within that territory with the same branding, okay? But they do reserve other rights for themselves, like being able to distribute products with the same branding through alternative channels of distribution, maybe to open up an outlet in a captive market venue, which could be anything like sports stadiums, hospitals, airports. They might have the right to national accounts within that territory. They might be able to sell products with a different branding, the same products with a different branding. And possibly you might face competition from other franchisees where their advertising reaches over into your territory. The second thing you should be aware of within the franchise agreement are the timelines that are in place for you to secure a site and for you to open your business. So depending on what your particular situation is and whether you're working on getting financing to open up the franchise, you will need to determine whether those timelines work for you and negotiate that up as needed. The third thing in the franchise agreement is the actual site criteria and what you need to fulfill in order to get that location approved by the franchisor. So you should be aware of this beforehand so you're prepared when you're looking for a commercial location. Fourth thing, be aware of your duties as a franchisee, and that's usually a very long list, right? It includes being compliant with any local and state and federal laws. It includes a duty to maintain the premises and maintain assets of the business. Right? So it's usually a long list of duties, including your duty to locally advertise and anything else that is related to running your actual franchise. The fifth thing is the franchisor's duties. Okay, you do want to understand what you're going to be receiving as a franchisee and the support that you're going to be getting from the franchisor, and evaluate whether that's going to fit what you're looking for, okay? Then you want to be aware of the intellectual property that you're going to get a license to use and how you should be using that intellectual property, okay? You want to make sure that there's the intellectual property is protected. So that could be trademark for the branding. It could be any patents, right? So you want to make sure that it's adequately protected and that you're aware of the limitations that you have in using that intellectual property during the course of your business. Okay. Then be aware of any confidentiality requirements. Many times the franchisor is going to require that you have confidentiality agreements with employees, with managers, and anyone that you're going to be sharing confidential information with. Now, remember that because it's a franchise, most of that information that is going to be shared with you is probably going to be confidential, right? Because the reason a franchise is because of proprietary process that the franchisor has. So make sure you have those agreements in place, and also be sure that when you share confidential information, that you label it as confidential so that enforceability later on is easier.